Please subscribe and you can download this code from description below. Certainly. Here's an informative tutorial on troubleshooting issues with the resetCounter function not being accessed or not working as expected in a Python Tkinter program. In Tkinter, encountering issues with functions not being accessed or not working as expected can be a common problem. This tutorial will guide you through troubleshooting scenarios when your resetCounter function in a Python Tkinter program isn't working as intended. There are a few potential reasons why your resetCounter function might not be accessed or behaving incorrectly. Let's assume you have a Python Tkinter program that contains a counter and a button to reset the counter. Here's an example demonstrating the issue you're facing. By following the steps outlined above, you can identify and resolve issues where the resetCounter function is not being accessed or not working as expected in your Python Tkinter program. Double-check the function definition, button binding, and potential errors to successfully troubleshoot and fix the problem. Remember, understanding the structure of your code and how functions are linked to the GUI elements in Tkinter is crucial for identifying and resolving such issues. Good luck with troubleshooting your code, and don't hesitate to seek further assistance if needed. ChatGPT. Title: Troubleshooting the resetCounter function in your Python Tkinter program. Introduction. In your Python Tkinter program, you might encounter situations where the resetCounter function is not being accessed or is not working as expected. This tutorial will help you diagnose and troubleshoot such issues by providing you with a step-by-step guide and code examples. We will cover common reasons why the resetCounter function might not work and offer solutions to resolve them. Prerequisites. Before diving into the troubleshooting steps, you should have a basic understanding of Python and the Tkinter library. Common reasons for resetCounter function issues. Incorrect function binding. The most common reason for the resetCounter function not being accessed is incorrect binding. If the function is not properly linked to an event or widget, it won't be called. Variable scoping. If the resetCounter function is unable to access or modify the counter variable, it might not work as expected. Ensure that the variable is within the correct scope. Syntax errors. Any syntax errors in the function definition or elsewhere in your code can lead to the resetCounter function not working as intended. Event triggering. The function might not be triggered because the event that should call it is not occurring. Ensure the event is correctly set up. Troubleshooting steps. Let's go through the steps to troubleshoot the resetCounter function in your Tkinter program. Step 1. Function definition. Ensure that your resetCounter function is correctly defined in your code. Double-check for any syntax errors and make sure it's at the right indentation level. Step 2. Function binding. Make sure you bind the resetCounter function to an appropriate event, such as a button click. For example, here, when the resetCounter button is clicked, it will call the resetCounter function. Step 3. Variable scope. If your resetCounter function modifies a counter variable, ensure that the variable is defined and accessible within the function. Use the global keyword to access a global variable within a function. Step 4. Event triggering. Check if the event that should trigger the resetCounter function is correctly set up and working. For instance, if it's supposed to be triggered by a button click, make sure the button is visible and functional. Conclusion. Troubleshooting issues with the resetCounter function in your Python Tkinter program involves checking for errors in function definition, binding, variable scoping, and event triggering. By following the steps outlined in this tutorial and thoroughly examining your code, you can identify and resolve the problems preventing your function from working as expected. ChatGPT.